So I got it put together. It went together well. I've tidied up my cabin there. I've pulled the battery strap out, glued it. I glued a piece of Velcro to the side, strapped the ESC up loosely to the side. Tidied the wiring up there. So I got plenty of room in there to mess around. My lights, the landing lights, they blink at what I'm calling the mid flaps, takeoff flaps, and the lights are solid on the full flaps. All the lights are working. Everything went well, surprisingly. And I tidied up the wires. I put my, I have a satellite receiver. I have a Lemon, Admiral Lemon 10 channel down there. I'm using, well, I did have the reverse on, but I didn't like it. So I pulled it out of the receiver. I just didn't, because it was, I don't know, sometimes I hit my switches and I don't want to inadvertently hit reverse when I'm flying. There you can see I had troubles with that screw and this screw. They didn't want to go down, but they're inside the bottom piece that holds, so the wing's in there nice and tight. So I might fix that someday, but right now I'm just going to leave it. I was short one of the vortex generators, so I left off the inner two and put it on the outer wing. Not going to bother Hobby King with replacements on that. No real issues here. I got the CG marked. It's right there at the carbon rods. I had problems. I think it was this one here, this pin. The pin was shorter than the other pin. There was no way you were going to get the wire on. I didn't want to have to sand this down thin. So just on a whim, I grabbed it with a pair of pliers and was able to, it just pulled right up and it works perfect. You can see I used some of my RTL Allen head screws there in place of in lieu of the I gotta tighten these down yet. I still haven't done that yet. I'm gonna go do that right now. But when it talks about spacers, when you put the landing gear together, they mean the fuel line. The fuel line goes in there. That took me a wild second or two to figure that concept out. But you know, other than a few flaky of those screw heads, I'm real careful when I put things together, and you know, if I start stripping stuff, I know I'm having problems. These struts, a little finicky to get on. The springs, I hate messing with springs, and I don't care much. This ball link here on the flaps kind of gave me issues, but once I got it figured out, and I had to do a lot of adjustment on just about all the control rods, needed quite a bit of adjustment, which, you know, I mean, I didn't expect them to come out of the box perfect, but you know, I just took my time, and you know, I think it's set up well. We'll see. You know, there are always some trimming to do. Put a little that Hobby King blue Loctite on the nuts for the wheels. Got it working well. I went ahead and put 2 rubber bands on. I don't know how necessary it is, but I don't know. It still has spring in it, but I can see I gotta go back over and check a few screws. Yeah, that's good and tight. But you know, yeah, I can't complain. I mean, yeah, you can say the quality of the screws, but on some I didn't use soap. If I put soap on it, it went in a lot better than without. But I don't know. I like it. I set my throws highs at 90, and I put 70% all around for a low throw in case I let somebody fly it that's not familiar with it. But I would rather have these kind of clasp here than these, but I think after I made and make sure all my throws are well, I'm probably going to just put a piece of a little piece of bear tape over this, just to make sure it doesn't pop off. Like if if you land hard and you go to take off again and have it pop off. But she has the look of the original Tundra that I like, and the stance and everything. So I think the green looks better in person than it does, on the videos. I'd have preferred the same color green that's on the original Tundra, but it's okay. I'm not going to complain. I like it. I think, I can't wait to maiden it. I just couldn't get it put together in time to get out there this morning. And it was windy here. If it's windy here at my house, when I go over the Toth, Toth is about almost 7 miles by car. It's probably 3.5, if you fly a straight, draw a straight line. So if it's a little breezy here, it's going to be windy there, and it's hot. It's in the getting close to 90, probably about 87 right now, and we got thunderstorms around. So I'm just going to piddle in the garage, but I just figured I'd give my post-build assessment. And I had trouble with the right wing strut supports. One, it seemed like it was 1/4 inch too long, and it took some real finessing to get this one in. But the tension feels pretty good on it. Nothing feels overstressed or anything, and I don't know, overall it was a good effort. But I saw somebody else had problems with the pin on one of their landing gear, and they sanded their wing support down. I wouldn't do that, but just gently pull up with the pliers, because I'm sure that pin has like a flat head like this, so that when you pull, that's what it felt like, because when I pulled it up it stopped, and when it stopped it was the same height as the other one, and the screw, the pins went in there without too much effort. It still took a little bit of effort, don't get me wrong, but I'd say well done for the price of the Tundra. The foam is fantastic. The prop was pretty much balanced, so we'll see. I set up, I always do like an engine on off with bigger planes, just so I don't accidentally cut myself if I'm messing around with the plane, adjusting it with the battery in it and stuff. But I stay away from the props anyway. But I don't know, like I said, I like it. Those are I've had 2 Carbon Z Cubs that I've sold to my buddy, and I have the Flex Innovations Cessna 170, and the Tundra is lighter than either one of those. I didn't look at the weight, but you can just tell when you lift it up that it's it feels light. It just feels light, like it's gonna fly. It's gonna fly fantastic. And yeah, make sure. Yeah, this was only glued. The board that's in there was only glued on one side, so I just ripped it out, soaked it down with glue, and glued it back in. But other than that, everything went well. I like the little spinner they put on there. I don't know if it's needed, but it had weight on it, so I figured it was there for a purpose. Well, I hope your builds go well. That's about it. I'm going to be using Admiral. I got a 10 channel in there. I was using I think I was using 8 channels. The lights, the landing lights, I've got them in a Y off of the flaps. The other lights, I believe the rear light and the underneath light, I put on another Y cable and stuck in an empty channel. And that's how I did the lights, and I didn't do anything to get blinking on half throttle and full landing lights on full flaps, but that's it. I mean, I can't wait to maiden it out. You know, hopefully I'll get it today or one of these days this weekend when it's not. I don't mind flying it. I'm sure it'll fly. It'll fly great in the wind. I know that because the Cessna flies great in the wind, and anything the Cessna can do, the Tundra can do just as well. But good luck. Hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo.